Sean, stay there, though, because I want to bring in Fox News contributor and George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley. Jonathan, we don't know the details, but this is a bombshell. Central District of California, federal grand jury had been convened in Los Angeles. It looks like from the early reporting that this could be related to criminal tax violations. A lot of money coming into Hunter through various accounts, various channels. Could perhaps not have been accounted for, because a lot of questions would be asked if you did account for them in your taxes. What's your reaction to this?
Well, we've been watching this district because this is where the special counsel originally wanted to bring tax charges and was effectively prevented from doing so. Both the U.S. attorneys in California and D.C. admit that they said, no, we're not going to work with you on this. Ultimately, he was given special counsel status, and there was a great deal of pressure because of the House investigation of the enormous amounts of money that were brought in by Hunter Biden from these sources. And so we've been expecting this, obviously, as a possibility. There's a couple of things here that we are going to have to wait to see. The likelihood is that it is, in fact, criminal tax charges. The likelihood is that they're felony charges. But the Department of Justice allowed the statute of limitations to run on the most serious allegations facing Hunter Biden. These large sums of money that came in around 2017. When this matter was being handled by this team, including these whistleblowers who testified before Congress, they warned the Justice Department, as did others of us in print, that you're allowing the statute of limitations to run. I mean, this was an openly discussed issue, not just in the Department of Justice, but in editorials. And they did precisely that. They let the statutes expire. So the question is, what are they charging and what did they lose? The second issue that is going to become more of a problem next week is whether Hunter Biden uses the indictment to invoke the Fifth Amendment, to refuse to testify, to say, well, now I'm charged with tax charges, and I don't want to go into particularly a closed session where you ask me these questions. So I offered to testify in public. You said no. Now I've been indicted just before I was to appear before Congress. And now I'll just invoke my right to remain silent. That's a possibility.
Well, right now, we don't have the document, but someone decided to leak the fact that this indictment was coming down, Jonathan. I don't want to get into the rank speculation game here, but it's not clear that Hunter knew about the indictment before the public at large knew about the indictment. And walk us through that, because when you're indicted for something, you're usually given a heads up, correct? You're told you're a target, and then you're told an indictment's forthcoming. It's not just like out of the blue.
Right. They knew this torpedo was in the water. The question is, did they know the indictment was about to be handed down? As you know, Laura, these leaks coming out of the Biden and Trump investigations have been a torrent during some periods. It's coming. Much of this seems to be coming from the Department of Justice, which has been accused in the past of leaks. I mean, one of the things that came out of Russiagate was known leaks by the Department of Justice, high-ranking FBI officials. Even James Comey was accused of taking material and leaking it to the press after he was fired. So there is this culture, the Department of Justice, to use strategic leaks. Now, we don't know where the leak is coming from here, but the obvious parties that would know would be, of course, the Department of Justice, and then secondarily, whether they inform the defense. It's not clear why the defense would want this to leak.
Right.
But as I said, this does give them a possible out where they can say, well, we've now had our hand forced. You didn't accept our offer. We've now been indicted a second time. We're just going to invoke his right to remain silent. That would force Congress to give him immunity if they wanted to hear from him, which they're not going to do because he's facing charges.
Oh, it's not going to happen now. You're 100% right. This in a perverse way, just on that one issue, it is a very, very strange gift to Hunter Biden, but obviously not long term. I want to remind everyone what was said yesterday at a press conference when Joe Biden was asked directly about his family's business dealings, Hunter's business dealings. Watch.
Can you explain to the Americans, amid this impeachment inquiry, why you interacted with so many of your son and brother's foreign business associates?
I'm not going to comment on that. I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies.
You didn't interact with many of their business associates?
I did not. There's lies.
I mean, Jonathan, that's just false. I mean, we have multiple occasions. I mean, it's bizarre. We have multiple pieces of evidence indicating that he spoke to Hunter's business associates dozens and dozens of times and had dinner with them and went golfing with them.
Well, it reminds me of Clinton's sort of chest poking, saying, I did not have intimate relations with that woman. I mean, basically, he's saying, I did not have interactions with those people. It didn't work for Clinton. And it's even more insulting here. You know, you have a poll showing that roughly 70% of the American people don't believe the president. They believe that he has done something unlawful or unethical. And by the way, 40% of Democrats feel that way. And so the question is, with almost half of the Democratic Party, you don't have a single Democratic member who we expect will vote for the impeachment inquiry, just the inquiry to investigate these issues, not to vote on impeachment, but to look into to establish whether there's grounds for impeachment. They very likely will not have a single Democrat, even though a large proportion of their party believes that there was something corrupt here. But what the president is facing is a trap of his own making. He ran for office, promising, assuring the American people that he had no knowledge of these transactions, of these dealings. That has been directly contradicted. Hunter Biden himself contradicted his father on that. But you have Hunter's close associate saying that that's absolute nonsense, that of course he knew. But can the president now admit that? Clearly, he doesn't think he can. So he's in this sort of frozen in amber with a story that he cannot possibly maintain.
I mean, this is mind-blowing. Just very quickly, Sean, given how unpredictable this investigation is, and this, we don't know the terms of the indictment, we don't know the counts, probably criminal tax, that's what a source is telling NBC tonight. But we don't know what else is going to be discovered as this thing rolls on about Joe Biden. Well, so this becomes a huge political liability. Again, this is a political question, a liability for this party going into 2024. It certainly doesn't help.
It does, because the IRS, the DOJ, and the FBI, the politics there were protecting Hunter, Joe, and Jim Biden. Now with the dam breaking, we don't know where, the White House doesn't know where this investigation is going to go, and it very well may lead to Joe's brother and Joe himself. You asked if Joe Biden was going to get out of politics. Could this blow up his campaign? Absolutely not. Now more than ever, Joe Biden needs and has to win, because he is the only one that's going to pardon his son if he is convicted. I guarantee you Donald Trump will not do that.
All right, Charlie, Sean, Jonathan, thank you all.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.